The rescue ship, called Eternal Mercy, moved slowly through the dark space above the jungle moon. Captain Kira stood at the front window and looked down at the green world below. She was Illumina, a tall being made of living crystal that glowed with soft blue light. Her people were known for being calm and wise, but today she felt worried. 3 days ago, a human transport ship had sent a distress signal from this moon. The message was short and full of static. Something about engine failure. Something about going down. Then nothing but silence. Kira turned to look at her crew. There was Tomas, the insectoid navigator with large compound eyes and long antennae that never stopped moving. There was Bella, the medical officer, a soft-bodied creature who floated in a special suit filled with water. And there was Max, the security chief, a massive four-armed being covered in thick gray skin. The signal came from the northern continent, Tomas said, his antennae pointing at a screen. Dense jungle. Very dangerous wildlife. Sensors show the wreckage is still there. Survivors? Kira asked. Unknown. The planet's atmosphere makes it hard to scan for life signs. Kira nodded slowly. Varus 7 was not a kind world. The Galactic Council had marked it as a death world, a place where evolution had created countless predators and very few prey. Everything on this moon wanted to kill everything else. The plants were poisonous. The insects were deadly. The larger creatures were nightmares made of teeth and claws. No one should have survived 3 days down there. But Kira had learned long ago that hope was the last thing a rescue team should abandon. Take us down, she ordered. The ship descended through thick clouds and emerged above an endless sea of green. Trees taller than most buildings stretched toward the sky, their branches covered in vines and strange flowers. Kira could see creatures moving in the canopy below, things with too many legs and too many eyes. They found the crash site in a small clearing. The human transport had broken apart on impact, scattering metal and cargo across the jungle floor. Fires had burned out days ago, leaving only black marks on the ground. Bodies lay among the wreckage, human bodies that had not moved in a long time. The rescue team landed nearby and stepped out into the thick, hot air. Max went first, his forearms holding different weapons, his small eyes scanning the tree line. Tomas followed with a scanner, and Bella floated behind with her medical equipment. Kira came last, her crystal body casting blue shadows on the ground. I count 12 bodies, Tomas said quietly. All adult humans. Cause of death appears to be impact trauma. They died in the crash. The manifest said there were 15 people on board. Kira replied. Keep searching. They moved through the wreckage carefully. The jungle around them was strangely quiet. Kira noticed that and felt her worry grow. On a world like this, silence meant something dangerous was nearby. Something that scared away all the other predators. Max found the next 2 bodies near the front of the ship. A man and a woman, still strapped into their seats. They had survived the crash, but not for long. Something had gotten to them, something with very large claws. That leaves one more, Bella said, her voice bubbling through her water suit. The manifest shows a child. A human female, 6 years old. Kira felt her heart sink. A child alone on this world for 3 days. There was no way she could have survived. They would find her body somewhere in the jungle, or more likely, they would never find her at all. Over here, Tomas called out suddenly. His antennae were standing straight up, which meant he was surprised. Very surprised that Kira hurried over to where the navigator was standing. He was at the edge of the clearing, near a large piece of the ship's hull that had formed a kind of shelter. And there, sitting in the shade like she was waiting for a bus, was a small human girl. She had brown hair tied back in a messy ponytail. Her clothes were dirty but not torn. Her face was calm, almost peaceful. She was eating something from a ration pack, chewing slowly and watching the rescue team with curious eyes. She was alive. Completely, impossibly alive. "Hello," Kira said softly, kneeling down to be closer to the child's level. "My name is Kira. We are here to rescue you. Are you hurt?" The girl shook her head. "I'm okay. My name is Lily. Lily, how did you survive? This world is very dangerous." Lily smiled and pointed to something beside her. "Biscuit protected me." Kira looked and saw an animal she did not recognize. It was about the size of a small dog, with a long body, short legs, and thick fur that was black on the bottom and white on top. It had small ears, tiny eyes, and a flat head. It looked almost cute in a strange way. The creature looked up at Kira and made a low sound in its throat. Not quite a growl, but not friendly either. "A warning. What is that?" Max asked, raising one of his weapons. "Don't," Lily said quickly. She put her small hand on the animal's back. "He doesn't like weapons. Put it down or he'll get angry." Max looked at Kira, who nodded. The security chief lowered his weapon slowly. "This is Biscuit," Lily explained. "He's a honey badger. My grandpa gave him to me before we left Earth. He said Biscuit would always keep me safe." Tomas scanned the animal with his device. His antennae twitched with confusion. "Captain, this creature's biology is remarkable. Thick skin, powerful jaw muscles, resistance to most toxins. But it is quite small. I do not understand how it could protect anyone on this world." Lily laughed like Tomas had said something funny. "Biscuit is very brave. He doesn't care how big something is. When the monsters came, he fought them. He always won." Kira noticed something then. Around the shelter, scattered in the undergrowth, there were bones. Large bones. And claw marks on the metal hull. Claw marks from the outside, from things trying to get in. But there were also other marks, smaller ones, and dark stains on the ground that looked like old blood. "Lily," Kira said slowly, "what happened to the monsters?" The little girl stroked her honey badger's fur. Biscuit yawned, showing teeth that were surprisingly sharp. "Biscuit ate them," Lily said simply. The rescue team was silent for a long moment. Kira looked at the small creature, at its tiny eyes that held no fear, at its relaxed body that seemed ready to explode into violence at any second. She had studied many species in her long life. She knew what a predator looked like. This small, strange animal was one of the most dangerous things she had ever seen. "We need to leave this place," Kira said finally. "Lily, will you come with us? We will take you somewhere safe." Lily stood up and picked up Biscuit, holding him against her chest. The honey badger allowed it, resting his head on her shoulder. "Okay," Lily said. "But Biscuit comes too." "Of course," Kira agreed. She was not foolish enough to try separating them. As they walked back to the ship, Kira noticed that the jungle was still silent. The predators of Vera 7 were still hiding, still afraid. And they were not afraid of the rescue team or their weapons. Station Horizon was one of the largest space stations in the galaxy. It floated in the empty space between 3 different star systems, a meeting place for dozens of different species. Millions of beings lived there, worked there, and raised their families there. It had markets and parks and schools and hospitals. It was a city in the stars. Lily had never seen anything like it. She pressed her face against the window of the transport ship as they approached. The station was shaped like a giant wheel, spinning slowly to create gravity. Lights covered every surface, blinking in patterns she did not understand. Ships of all sizes flew around it like insects around a flower. "It's so big," Lily whispered. Biscuit sat on her lap, looking out the window with her. He did not seem impressed. But then again, Biscuit was never impressed by anything. Captain Kira sat across from them. She had been watching Lily during the entire journey from Vera 7, studying her with those strange crystal eyes. Lily knew the alien was confused. Everyone on the ship was confused. They kept asking her questions about what had happened on the jungle moon, about how she had survived, about the creatures that had attacked her shelter at night. Lily told them the truth. The monsters came. Biscuit killed them. She ate the food from the ship and drank the water from the emergency supplies. She waited for help. It was not complicated, but the aliens looked at her like she had done something impossible. They looked at Biscuit like he was a bomb that might explode at any moment. Lily did not understand why. Biscuit was just her friend. He was a good boy. When the ship landed on Station Horizon, a group of officials was waiting for them. There were security officers in armor, medical workers with scanning devices, and a tall female alien with 6 arms and a kind face. This alien stepped forward first. "Hello, little one," she said. Her voice was soft and warm, like a blanket. "My name is Vila. I am in charge of caring for children who need help on this station. I am going to take care of you now." Lily looked at Vila and decided she liked her. The alien had gentle eyes and moved slowly, not making any sudden movements that might scare Biscuit. "Can Biscuit stay with me?" Lily asked. Vila looked at the honey badger. Biscuit looked back at her and yawned. "I think that would be best," Vila said. "Come, I will show you your new room." One of the security officers stepped forward. He was a big alien with scales and small yellow eyes. A badge on his chest said his name was Drake, and he was the commander of station security. "Wait," Drake said. His voice was deep and hard. "That animal needs to be contained. We don't know what it is capable of. It should be placed in a secure holding area." Lily felt Biscuit's body tense under her hands. He did not like this big alien. She could tell. "No," Lily said. Drake blinked. "Excuse me?" "Biscuit stays with me. He doesn't like cages. If you try to put him in a cage, he will get out. And then he will be angry." The commander looked at Captain Kira. "Is this creature really that dangerous?" "It is so small." Kira's crystal body flickered with colors that Lily had learned meant she was thinking hard. "Commander, I saw the remains of Vera 7 predators around that child's shelter. Large predators. Apex predators. They had been killed by something with small teeth and very powerful jaws. I recommend we do not test this creature's limits." Drake did not look happy, but he stepped back. Vila gently took Lily's hand and led her away from the landing area, through long corridors filled with aliens of every shape and size. Lily tried not to stare, but it was hard. She had grown up on Earth in a small town where everyone was human. She had never seen so many different kinds of people before. They arrived at a large building that Vila called the Sanctuary. It was a place for children who had lost their families, a place where they could live and learn and grow until new homes were found for them. Inside, everything was designed to be comfortable. Soft floors, warm lights, plants growing on the walls. And there were other children. Alien children of many different species, playing games, reading books, talking with each other. They all stopped and looked when Lily walked in. "Everyone," Vela announced. "This is Lily. She is human, and she will be staying with us for a while. Please make her feel welcome." The alien children stared at Lily. Then they stared at Biscuit. Then they slowly went back to what they were doing. Keeping their distance. Vila showed Lily to her room. It was small but clean, with a bed that was a little too big for her and a window that looked out at the stars. Lily put Biscuit on the bed and sat down beside him. "This will be your home for now," Vila said. "I know it must be strange and scary. You have been through so much. If you need anything at all, just ask me." Lily nodded. She was tired. She had been tired for days, but she had not been able to sleep properly on Vera 7. There was always another noise, another shadow, another monster trying to get in. Now, for the first time in what felt like forever, she felt safe enough to rest. "Thank you, Miss Fellow," Lily said. Vila smiled with her kind eyes and left, closing the door softly behind her. Lily lay down on the bed and pulled Biscuit close. The honey badger curled up against her stomach, his warm body rising and falling with each breath. She closed her eyes. She dreamed of her parents. She dreamed of the crash, the terrible noise, the way everything had gone sideways and then dark. She dreamed of waking up alone, of finding her mother and father not moving, of understanding that they were never going to move again. She dreamed of the first night when the monsters came. She remembered the sounds they made, the scratching at the metal shelter, the hungry calls in the darkness. She remembered being so scared that she could not breathe. And she remembered Biscuit. He had not been scared at all. When the first monster broke through a gap in the metal, Biscuit had attacked. Lily had watched in shock as her small pet launched himself at a creature 3 times his size. Teeth sinking into flesh, claws ripping. That terrible growling sound coming from his throat. The monster had died. So had the next one. And the one after that. After the third night, the monsters stopped coming. Word had spread through the jungle, whatever way animals spread such things. The small creature with the black and white fur was not to be touched. The human child was under its protection. Lily woke up in her new room on Station Horizon. Sunlight was coming through the window. Artificial sunlight created by the station systems to help people feel normal. Biscuit was already awake, sitting by the door, waiting. "Are you hungry, boy?" Lily asked. Biscuit made a sound that meant yes. They went out into the sanctuary together. The other children watched from a distance as Lily found the food area and got breakfast for herself and Biscuit. She ate something that looked like bread and tasted like honey. Biscuit ate raw meat that one of the workers had nervously provided. A young alien boy approached. He had blue skin and big dark eyes and fins where his ears should be. He was smaller than Lily, maybe only 4 or 5 years old. "What is that?" the boy asked, pointing at Biscuit. "He's a honey badger," Lily said. "Is he nice?" Lily thought about that. "He's nice to me. He might be nice to you if you're nice to him." The boy slowly reached out his hand. Biscuit sniffed it, considered for a moment, then allowed the boy to pet him. The boy's face lit up with joy. "He's soft," the boy said. Lily smiled. Maybe this place would not be so bad after all. But far away, in the dark parts of the station where the lights did not reach, someone was watching footage of Lily's arrival. Someone with 4 eyes and scars on his face. Someone who saw a human child and thought only of profit. Victor smiled to himself and began to make plans. Victor was not his real name. He had been born with a different name on a different world, but that person was dead now. He had killed him long ago, buried him in the past along with everything soft and weak. Now he was Victor, the one who always won, the king of Station Horizon's underworld. He sat in his office deep in the station's lower levels, where the lights flickered and the air smelled of rust and old sweat. Screens covered the walls, showing camera feeds from all over the station. Victor had spent years putting those cameras in place, paying bribes, making threats. Now he could see almost everything that happened on Station Horizon. And what he saw right now was very interesting. A human child, alone, no family, no protection, except for one strange little animal that the officials seemed nervous about. Victor leaned forward in his chair, his 4 eyes focusing on the screen. Human children were rare in this part of the galaxy. Humans were newcomers to the stars, and they did not spread their young ones far from their home systems. But some beings in the outer territories would pay enormous amounts of money for a human child. Collectors who wanted exotic species for their private zoos. scientists who wanted to study human biology, criminals who wanted to train humans as servants or worse. Victor did not care what happened to the children he sold. He only cared about the money. This girl would make him very rich. He touched a button on his desk, and a screen changed to show two figures standing in the shadows. They were his best retrieval agents, his hunters, Vex and Shade. Vex was tall and thin, with skin that changed colors to match his surroundings. His species had evolved to be perfect predators, able to become invisible and strike without warning. His claws could cut through metal. Shade was shorter and wider, with skin so black that light seemed to fall into it and disappear. Her species came from a world with no sun, where everything lived in eternal darkness. She could see in any condition, and she moved without making any sound at all. Together, they had never failed a job. "I have work for you," Victor said. Vex stepped forward, his skin rippling with colors. "We saw the footage. The human child. Yes, I want her brought to me, alive and undamaged. The buyers prefer them healthy." Shade tilted her head. "What about the animal? The small one that stays with her?" Victor waved his hand dismissively. "It is nothing. A pet. Kill it if it causes trouble, or leave it behind. I don't care. The child is what matters." Vex and Shade looked at each other. They had heard rumors about what had happened on Varus 7, about the predators found dead around the girl's shelter. But they were not worried. They had killed creatures much larger and much more dangerous than any small furry animal. "We will bring her to you tonight," Vex said. Victor smiled, showing rows of small, sharp teeth. "Good. Do not disappoint me." The two hunters left the office and made their way through the station's hidden passages. These were the paths that most people did not know about, the maintenance tunnels and abandoned sections that connected everything. Vex and Shade knew them all. They watched the sanctuary from a distance, learning the routines. They saw when the lights went down at night, when the workers went home, when the children went to sleep. They saw the human girl playing in the garden atrium, a large indoor space filled with plants and small trees, designed to help children feel less trapped in the metal station. She was always with the animal. It never left her side. "Strange creature," Shade whispered, her voice like wind through dead leaves. "It watches everything. It is not like other pets I have seen." Vex shrugged. "It is small. It cannot stop both of us." They chose their moment carefully. The station's power systems had scheduled maintenance, which meant brief moments when the lights would flicker and the cameras would go dark. During those moments, Vex and Shade could move without being seen. The night came. The children went to bed. The workers finished their shifts and left. Matron Vela made her final rounds, checking on each child, making sure they were comfortable. She spent extra time with Lily, talking softly to her, asking if she needed anything. "I'm okay," Lily said. She was sitting in the garden atrium, looking at the artificial stars projected on the ceiling. Biscuit was beside her, digging at the soil around the plant. "I like it here. It's quiet." "You have been through so much," Vela said. "Most children would be scared, but you seem so calm. How do you do it?" Lily thought about the question. Grandpa always said that being scared doesn't help. He said you should feel your fear, and then do what you need to do anyway. He said that's what being brave means. Vela's 6 arms made a gesture that meant she was impressed. "Your grandfather sounds like a wise man." "He was," Lily said quietly. "He died last year, before we left Earth, but he gave me Biscuit first. He said Biscuit would take care of me." Vela looked at the honey badger, who had stopped digging and was now watching her with those small, dark eyes. There was something unsettling about that gaze. It was too aware, too intelligent. "I believe he does," Vela said. "I will leave you to enjoy the garden, but please go to bed soon." Growing children need their rest. Lily nodded, and Vila left the atrium. The doors closed behind her, and the room became very quiet. Only the soft sound of artificial wind moving through the leaves, and the distant hum of the station's engines. Lily lay back on the grass and looked up at the fake stars. She missed real stars. She missed Earth. She missed her mom and dad so much that it hurt. Biscuit crawled up beside her and lay his head on her stomach. He was warm and heavy and alive. As long as she had him, she was not alone. The lights flickered. Lily sat up, her heart suddenly beating faster. Biscuit's head came up too, his ears turning like little radar dishes. He was listening to something she could not hear. The lights flickered again, and when they came back on, two figures were standing at the edge of the atrium. One was tall and thin, his skin shifting between the colors of the plants around him. The other was short and dark, so dark that she seemed like a hole in the world. They both looked at Lily with hungry eyes. "Hello, little human," the tall one said. His voice was smooth and cold. "My name is Vex. This is my partner Shade. We are here to take you on a trip." Lily did not scream. She did not cry. She had learned on Varus 7 that screaming and crying did not help. Instead, she slowly stood up, keeping her eyes on the two strangers. Biscuit stood up too. His fur was bristling, standing up all over his body. A low sound came from his throat, a rumbling growl that seemed to vibrate in Lily's chest. "That's a scary little noise," Shade said. She sounded amused. "But we are not scared of small animals. We have killed things much bigger than you." "Come with us quietly," Vex said, taking a step closer. "And no one has to get hurt. Not you, not your pet. Just walk with us, and everything will be fine." Lily looked at Biscuit. Biscuit looked at Lily. Something passed between them, a silent understanding that they had developed during those terrible nights on Veris-7. Lily looked back at the two hunters. Her voice was steady and calm. "You shouldn't have come here," she said. Vex laughed. "Is that supposed to scare us? You are a child. A small, weak human child. What could you possibly do to us?" Lily did not answer. She did not need to. Biscuit answered for her. Vex had killed hundreds of creatures in his long career. He had fought beasts with claws the size of swords. He had strangled monsters with his bare hands. He had survived battles that would have destroyed lesser beings. He was fast, he was deadly, and he had never met anything that could truly challenge him. But he had never faced a honey badger. Biscuit moved so fast that Vex almost did not see him. One moment, the small animal was standing beside the girl. The next moment, he was in the air, flying toward Shade with his teeth bared and his claws extended. Shade tried to dodge. She was fast too, faster than most species in the galaxy. But Biscuit was not aiming for where she was. He was aiming for where she would be. His jaws closed on her forearm with a crunch that echoed through the atrium. Shade screamed. It was a sound that Vex had never heard before, a sound of pure shock and pain. She tried to shake the creature off, swinging her arm wildly, but Biscuit held on. His teeth had gone through her skin, through her muscle, scraping against bone. "Get it off!" Shade shrieked. "Get it off!" Vex rushed forward, his claws extending from his fingers. He slashed at the honey badger, cutting deep into its side. Blood sprayed across the grass. But Biscuit did not let go. He did not even seem to notice the wound. Vex slashed again and again. His claws tore through fur and flesh. Any normal animal would have died from the first cut. Any normal animal would have let go and tried to escape. But Biscuit was not a normal animal. The honey badger's skin was different. It was thick and loose, designed by millions of years of evolution to protect against exactly this kind of attack. The claws cut, but they could not reach anything vital. And more importantly, they could not make Biscuit stop. Shade fell to her knees, her arm a ruin of torn flesh and broken bone. She was going into shock, her dark skin turning gray. Biscuit finally released her and turned to face Vex. The honey badger's fur was covered in blood, some of it his own, most of it Shade's. His small eyes fixed on Vex with an expression that the hunter had never seen on any animal before. It was contempt. This small creature looked at Vex, a killer who had terrified entire worlds and saw nothing worth fearing. Vex felt something he had not felt in decades. He felt afraid. "What are you?" he whispered. Biscuit charged. Vex tried to fight. He was bigger, stronger, and had reach advantages that should have made the battle one-sided. But none of that mattered. Biscuit was a whirlwind of teeth and claws, attacking from every angle, never stopping, never slowing down. Vex's camouflage skin flickered uselessly. It was designed to hide him from prey, not to protect him from a creature that did not care about hiding. Every time he struck Biscuit, the honey badger took the hit and kept coming. Every time he tried to grab the animal, those terrible jaws snapped at his hands. Biscuit got hold of his leg and pulled. Vex crashed to the ground, and then the honey badger was on top of him, going for his throat. This time, there would be no escape. Lily watched from her spot by the artificial tree. She had not moved since the fight began. She knew better than to interfere when Biscuit was working. Her grandfather had taught her that. When a honey badger fights, he had said, you stay out of its way. You let it do what it does. And then you thank it afterward. The sounds of the fight were terrible. Wet sounds, tearing sounds, sounds that Lily knew she would hear in her nightmares. But she did not look away. Biscuit was protecting her. The least she could do was witness it. When it was over, Vex lay still on the grass. Shade was still alive but barely conscious, curled around her destroyed arm. Biscuit stood between them and Lily, his chest heaving, his fur matted with blood. The atrium doors burst open. Security officers poured in, their weapons drawn, led by Commander Drake himself. They spread out, taking positions, scanning for threats. What they found made them freeze. 2 of the most dangerous criminals on the station, defeated. 1 dead, 1 dying. And standing over them, a small earth animal that was calmly licking blood from its paws. Drake stared at the scene. His scales had gone pale, a sign of extreme shock in his species. He had read the reports from Vera 7. He had not believed them. He had thought the rescue team was exaggerating, making excuses for not containing the animal. He believed them now. What? What happened here? He managed to say. Lily walked over to Biscuit and knelt down beside him. She gently touched his head, checking for injuries. He had cuts on his sides, but they were already starting to close. Honey badgers healed fast. Another gift from evolution. They tried to take me, Lily said. Her voice was calm, almost casual. Biscuit stopped them. Drake looked at Vex's body, at the terrible wounds on his throat. Then he looked at Shade, who was being attended to by medical officers. She would survive, but she would never use that arm again. That creature, Drake said slowly, killed Vex. Vex was a trained assassin. He has killed beings 10 times his size. Lily shrugged. Biscuit doesn't care how big something is. He just cares if it's a threat. Matron Vela arrived, pushing through the security officers. When she saw Lily, she rushed forward and wrapped all 6 of her arms around the girl. Are you hurt? Did they touch you? I'm so sorry. I should never have left you alone. I should have, I'm okay, Lily said, returning the hug. Biscuit kept me safe. He always does. Vela looked down at the honey badger. Biscuit looked back at her with those small, dark eyes. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Vela did something that surprised everyone watching. She bowed to the honey badger, a deep bow of respect and gratitude. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Thank you for protecting her." Biscuit made a sound that might have been acknowledgement. Then he yawned, showing all of his blood-stained teeth, and began cleaning himself more thoroughly. Commander Drake ordered a full investigation. Within hours, his officers had traced the attack back to Victor. The crime lord tried to run, but the station's exits were locked down. He was arrested in his office, screaming about his rights and demanding to speak to his lawyers. He stopped screaming when they showed him the footage of what Biscuit had done to his two best hunters. "Keep that thing away from me," Victor whispered, his 4 eyes wide with terror. "Keep it away." The news spread through Station Horizon like fire. Everyone was talking about the human child and her pet, about the 2 criminals who had tried to kidnap her, about the small Earth animal that had killed one and nearly killed the other. People began looking at Lily differently. Not with fear exactly, but with a new kind of respect. And when they looked at Biscuit, walking beside her through the station's corridors, they stepped aside. They gave them room. Nobody wanted to be seen as a threat to that little girl. Not anymore. Later that night, Lily sat in her room with Biscuit curled up on her bed. The medical staff had treated his wounds, though he had made it very clear that he did not enjoy the process. The cuts were already closed, pink new skin showing through the fur. "You did good today," Lily told him, scratching behind his ears. "Grandpa would be proud of you." Biscuit made a happy sound and pushed his head against her hand. Lily lay down beside him and stared at the ceiling. She thought about Vex and Shade, about the fear in their eyes when they realized what they were facing. She thought about all the monsters on Vera 7 who had learned the same lesson. "Nobody understands," she said softly to Biscuit. "They think you're just an animal. They don't know what you really are." Biscuit opened one eye and looked at her. "Your family," Lily said. "And family protects each other." Biscuit closed his eye and went to sleep. Outside, the artificial stars shone through the window. And somewhere in the station, beings of 100 different species were sharing stories about the small creature that did not know fear. The honey badger had become a legend. The video spread across the galaxy like a disease that no one wanted to cure. Security footage from the garden atrium showed everything. 2 professional killers entering the room. A small child standing alone with her pet. And then chaos, fast and brutal and terrifying. Within a day, billions of beings had watched it. Within a week, it had been translated into over 1,000 languages. Scientists studied it frame by frame. Military commanders used it in training sessions. Parents showed it to their children as a warning. Never underestimate Earth creatures. Never underestimate humans. Captain Kira watched the video in her quarters aboard the Eternal Mercy. She had seen death before. She had seen violence in many forms. But something about this footage disturbed her in a way she could not explain. It was not the violence itself. It was the calmness. The little girl had stood there, completely still, while her pet destroyed 2 killers. No screaming, no crying, no running away. Just quiet trust in a small animal that weighed less than a standard cargo container. Kira began researching. She spent hours accessing human databases, reading about Earth, studying its biology. What she found kept her awake at night. Earth was not the peaceful garden world that most species imagined. It was a death world, a planet where everything competed to survive. The humans had crawled out of that competition somehow, had built civilizations and technology in cities. But they had not left their world's nature behind. They had embraced it. Humans kept animals. This was known. But Kira had assumed these were gentle creatures, bred for companionship, selected for their harmlessness. She was wrong. Humans kept wolves, barely disguised as friendly dogs. They kept small tigers that they called cats. They rode on the backs of beasts that could crush them with a single kick. And apparently, they gave honey badgers to their children as gifts. Kira found videos of honey badgers on Earth. She watched them attack lions. She watched them eat venomous snakes, shrugging off poison that would kill most species in minutes. She watched them break into heavily secured locations just to steal food. She watched them fight and fight and fight, never giving up, never backing down, no matter how badly they were hurt. These creatures had no fear response. Their brains simply did not process danger the way normal animals did. They saw a threat and they attacked it. Size did not matter. Numbers did not matter. Pain did not matter. They would fight until they won or until they died, and they almost always won. And humans thought these creatures were cute. Humans gave them to children. Kira closed her research files and sat in silence for a long time. She was beginning to understand something about humanity that most species had missed. They were not weak. They were not fragile. They came from a world of monsters, and they had learned to make those monsters their friends. On Station Horizon, life slowly returned to normal. Lily was celebrated as a hero, though she did not understand why. She had not done anything. Biscuit had done everything. She just stood there and watched Dot, but the aliens did not see it that way. They saw a human child who had stayed calm in the face of danger. They saw someone who trusted her companion completely, who never doubted for a moment that she would be protected. That kind of trust was strange to most species. Animals were animals. They were pets or tools or food. The idea of genuinely relying on one, of treating it as an equal partner in survival, was difficult to understand, but the results spoke for themselves. Matron Viola arranged for Lily to receive special status on the station. She would be protected by law, her needs provided for, until a permanent home could be found for her. Human authorities had been contacted, and arrangements were being made to return her to Earth space. It would take time. Space was big, and humans were far away. But Lily did not mind waiting. She had everything she needed right here. The other children at the sanctuary treated her differently now. They were not afraid of her exactly, but they kept their distance from Biscuit. Only the small blue boy with fins for ears still came close, still reached out to pet the honey badger, still smiled when Biscuit allowed it. "Why aren't you scared?" Lily asked him one day. The boy thought about it. "My mother said that scary things are only scary if they want to hurt you. Biscuit doesn't want to hurt me. He only hurts bad people." Lily smiled. That was exactly right. 1 week after the attack, Captain Kira came to visit. She found Lily in the garden atrium, sitting in the same spot where she had faced Vex in shade. The grass had been replaced, the blood cleaned away, but Lily still came here every day. It was peaceful. Kira sat down beside her, folding her tall crystal body into a more comfortable position. Biscuit watched her carefully, but did not growl. He seemed to understand that this alien was not a threat. "I have been studying your world," Kira said. "Earth. It is a remarkable place." "I miss it," Lily said. "I miss the sky. The real sky, with real clouds and real sun. The station is nice, but it's not the same. You will go home someday." "Arrangements are being made." Lily nodded. She knew. Everyone kept telling her. Kira was quiet for a moment. Then she asked the question that had been bothering her since she first found the girl on Varus 7. "Lily, were you not afraid? When those creatures came for you, when they threatened you, were you not scared?" Lily looked at Biscuit. The honey badger was digging at the grass again, searching for bugs or roots or whatever caught his interest. He seemed completely unbothered by the conversation. "I was scared at first," Lily admitted. "When my parents died, when I was alone in the jungle, I was really scared. I cried a lot the first night. I thought I was going to die, but then Biscuit fought for you. Yes, and after that, I wasn't as scared anymore, because I knew he would always protect me. No matter what came, no matter how big or strong or mean it was, Biscuit would fight it. And he would win. Kira considered this. Most species would not place such trust in an animal. We would want weapons, armor, soldiers. We would want technology to protect us. Lily smiled. Grandpa used to say that the best technology is a friend you can count on. He said humans have been surviving with animal friends for thousands of years. Dogs to hunt with, horses to ride, cats to catch mice. We help them, and they help us. It's what we do. Kira looked at Biscuit again. The small creature had found something in the dirt and was eating it with obvious satisfaction. He did not look like a deadly fighter. He looked like a pet, a simple animal enjoying a simple meal. But Kira knew better now. I think I understand humanity better than I did before, Kira said slowly. You did not conquer your world with strength or speed or claws. You conquered it by making allies, by forming bonds with creatures that could do what you could not. And now, when you travel to the stars, you bring those bonds with you. Lily reached out and scratched Biscuit behind his ears. The honey badger made a happy sound and pushed against her hand. He's my family, Lily said simply. That's all that matters. Kira stood up. She had a report to file with the Galactic Council, a recommendation that would change how the galaxy viewed humanity. She would suggest that Earth be reclassified as a high-danger world. She would recommend that human companion animals be added to the threat assessment databases, and she would include a personal note about what she had learned. About trust, about partnership, about the strange and wonderful relationship between humans and the creatures they loved. Before she left, she bowed to Lily and Biscuit, just as Vela had done. Thank you, she said, for teaching me something new. Lily waved goodbye as the captain walked away. Then she lay back on the grass and looked up at the artificial stars. Somewhere out there, beyond those fake lights, Earth was waiting for her. Real skies, real grass, real stars. And she would see them again someday. But for now, she was okay. She had food and shelter and people who cared about her. Most importantly, she had Biscuit. The honey badger climbed onto her stomach and curled up there, warm and heavy and perfectly content. His small eyes closed, and soon he was asleep. Lily put her hand on his back and felt his heartbeat, strong and steady. Thanks, Biscuit, she whispered. For everything? The honey badger's ear twitched, just slightly. Even in sleep, he was listening. Even in sleep, he was ready. That was what humans did, Kira had said. They made friends with monsters, and those friends would follow them to the stars.